Just own it. Show me that you want to dance the dance. Show me that you're okay with it. Let me know that it's fine, and I will follow you. Take the lead, bro. Take the lead, she says.
Gambling is ignoring the odds.
Not necessarily. You can be a strategic gambler.
A calculated risk, on the other hand, could be very strategic.
And you're still... You could still be...
We're the Ford couple of the year.
From an outside view, I feel like this would look pretty sexy.
What up, Casanova, and welcome to the third video of the Honest Chemistry free workshop series. In the last video, I introduced you to the 3 pillars of honest chemistry to give you a general overview of how things work. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 ways how guys sabotage their interactions. Their interactions, their dates, their relationship, I mean, it all kind of goes hand in hand. So I'm going to be showing you some common ways that guys mess up. Now, you already have a good foundational understanding from the last 2 videos, certainly more than when I started out. But what you must understand is that things can get quite nuanced when you navigate this area, the social jungle, you know, attraction, seduction, being good with women, etc. can get quite nuanced. And so you need to train this muscle. Okay, you need to train this muscle. And so I want to show you some of these common pitfalls that come up so you can be aware of them. All right. This is, one of the reasons I created this workshop is because since I started posting videos on YouTube over the years and since I started coaching, I've received lots of questions on the topic. And this, coupled with what I've observed in guys that I've coached, guys when I was going out, is what led me to want to talk about this, want to share this. Now, if you have not yet watched the first 2 videos in the series, I suggest you go do that first. Otherwise, some of the things I'll be talking about in this video are going to go over your head. Also, if you're new to this whole area, of success with women, relatively new, whatever, some of the things we discuss in this video may seem a bit intense, okay? But, they may be a bit overwhelming, but don't be intimidated, okay? You don't need to remember all these things at once when you're out talking to girls. That's not the point, okay? Just start getting into the habit of keeping these things in mind as you go out, as reference points. Avoid what I would like to call a perfectionist mindset. And this is something, I struggled with in the beginning, is like, whoa, there's all these things I got to keep in mind, and that could be very paralyzing, as opposed to, sure, there are all these things to keep in mind, but I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to talk to girls, I'm going to go on dates, I'm going to do my best, because that's all you can do at any given point, along your journey. And I'm just going to improve over time. And like I said, don't worry, I'm going to equip you as best I can, but recognize that there is a process to this, there is a natural evolution to this, there is a trajectory of growth, and everyone's is different, but just kind of embrace that, make it fun. Now, there are tons of things that guys mess up on. Okay, I've seen it all, and I've experienced it all myself personally, because newsflash, I was not always good with girls, far from it. But I would say 5 things really stand out when I observe my students, and something I've struggled with, and those are the things that I want to talk to you today about. But before we get into it, I want you to give yourself a pat on the back for making it this far. We've covered a lot of ground in the last couple of videos. You're already that much better at understanding chemistry and how to socialize and attract women. And we're gonna go even further now, so you become even more attuned with the process, but I want you to celebrate the small wins, okay? It is important to sometimes recognize the progress we make, to not take it for granted, okay? Because after all, you are taking the time to invest in yourself. And learning this teaches you about psychology, about attraction, about social dynamics, about what is value, okay? About personal growth, okay? This is very powerful stuff. This is the kind of stuff that helped some of my students like Raymond, who learned how to be more brazen in his interactions, who learned how to take the lead in his interactions and dates, okay? Who also simultaneously learned how to not take himself so seriously and how to adopt a more collaborative frame in his interactions with girls. And it was amazing to see the kind of progress that he was making when he started adopting some of these principles and building those muscles, okay? And that's the beauty of this, is that anyone can do this. Just enough understanding and enough tweaks, you yourself can be on that path, can open those doors, can be exposed to these limitless possibilities. And sometimes guys ask me, well, how long does it take to see the result, to see the growth? Well, it depends, okay? I always say it depends, okay? There are guys that I've worked with like Alex who made progress really fast. Like within days, he was getting some amazing reactions, okay? With just a few tweaks, right? With, some guys are just quick to adopt certain mindsets and certain habits, right? And sometimes this kind of progress amazes even me, okay? I see a pretty radical transformation in most of my students, and of course it's always relative, but sometimes some students' progress amazes even me. But the point is not to compare yourself to others and not to look for some kind of fixed benchmark for success, because recognizing that, everyone is different, everyone's got their own set of strengths and weaknesses, okay? You can look to others for inspirations, but never compare yourself to others. It's something I really discourage, because you are on your own unique journey, and that's what you need to focus on. So keep that in mind as I discuss these various case studies that are both for your inspiration and for your learning, is that you are, at the end of the day, on your own unique journey. Okay, now let's get into it. Let's look at these common mistakes. Even if you're more experienced, I want you to pay attention to this. Keep these things in mind. Don't get cocky. There's definitely something to take away from this video for everyone at any level. And look, women, I often say to guys, women always look at the interactions with a man, okay, at the dates, all that, in their entirety, okay? They kind of look holistically at what's going on. So sometimes they can be forgiving, okay? Often they can be forgiving, within reason, obviously. But having said that, there are certain things that can really sabotage your interactions over and over and over again, your dates, your relationships, all of it, okay, without you even realizing. So if you can keep these things in mind, it will help you dramatically. Okay, so the first mistake I see guys make in their interactions and in their dates with girls is that they are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Okay, this is very crucial. So they are more in self-preservation mode than in how do I, win mode. Okay, how do I make the most of this? Okay, and this can really fuck guys up. So first of all, you need to recognize that this is often coming from a place of fear versus from a place of abundance. Okay, that's one of the first things. Okay, and you need to start shifting this mindset. Now, when I say abundance, I don't necessarily mean, okay, well, sure, if you had like 5 girls that you were already seeing and a lot of reference experiences under your belt, then, there's there's tangible abundance that's already there that you can tap into. Abundance, of women you're actually seeing, or an abundance of experience that you've already had. But in the absence of this, okay, you need to stick to the principle itself, is that there will be more. There will be more. It's something I often tell myself and something I often tell my students. There will be more. And this is not, something that necessarily needs to apply to women only. It's kind of a foundational principle of success in life and living more happily, is that there will be more. There will be more what? There will be more opportunities. There will be more women to meet. Okay? There will be more opportunities. There is no shortage of women out there. And so if you mess things up, it is what it is. It is what it is. And that's okay, because there will be more opportunities. There are more girls right around the corner. And guess what? You were meant to mess some of these things up, because you are only equipped so far at any point in your evolution. Okay? So you're meant to fuck certain things up. So you might as well own it and just focus on the growth, on the learning, on doing your best, on actually, winning. And when I say winning, it's like making the most of this, making the most of the learning. Okay? And it goes kind of hand in hand by pushing, by trying new things and pushing your comfort zones and taking interactions into places that you may not have been comfortable taking. You simultaneously learn the most, and you simultaneously will make the most of the interactions themselves. So take that shift from fear to abundance, from self-preservation to how do I just learn the most from this? How can I take away more from this? As opposed to how do I preserve my image? Okay, how do I not look bad? How do I not look stupid? How do I save face? Okay, this is the stuff that's harming you. Okay, when guys are afraid to, look stupid, look awkward, look try hard. And I mean, yes, we do live in a society that condemns that kind of stuff, that condemns looking stupid or awkward or try hard or cringe, even though those things are sometimes, or often I should say, inevitable in making progress with women in other areas of your life.
Hi guys, real talk. Are we starting a competing truck across the street?
What?
A competing shawarma
If
truck.
there's no hamburgers, I'm not going.
Yeah, bro, we
We're not
got.
even competing for the fucking first one. I just want.
No, as in, as in, we're gonna start our own truck and make the money. Girl,
Do it, bro.
you'll be the chef. She'll be the accountant.
I am the.
So you're gonna have her in the back.
I am the.
Yes.
You're gonna have her in the back.
Wait, how tall are you though? There's a height requirement. Stand up for a second. 2 seconds.
What's the height requirement?
It's 5'7".
Oh.
Do you meet her?
We both
Your
missed
face
that.
now or in 2 minutes?
Why so harsh?
Tell me about it.
Why so
Let me
harsh?
stand up so I can kick you proper. Are you ready?
She's feeding into it. It's crazy.
Okay, you're good? You're ready?
All right, this is gonna get very violent.
See?
That's what
She
we're
fights.
When to hit you in your nutsack, you better walk away now.
I need to eat real talk though.
Por qué?
I don't need it.
Wait, you know what you should get?
What?
Coconut water.
I had some already.
You're actually very lovable. But you do look 5'7".
I'm not. I have heels on. That's not facts.
Oh, are you?
But I had coconut water. Thanks for checking out.
When?
Like 2 minutes ago.
Hey,
What are we doing?
I've had so many interactions that I've messed up and looked awkward and looked silly and looked try hard and looked cringe. All right. There's this notion where, there's this misconception that actually fucks up a lot of guys. And that is that it needs to look smooth. Okay. It needs to look cool. It needs to look effortless. It needs to look seamless. Okay. And sometimes it can come off that way. And you want to get to a point where things are more smooth. Okay? But in the process, there's going to be a lot of awkward scenarios. And even when you're good, there can be a lot of there are going to be scenarios that might be seemingly try hard or awkward, where you're putting yourself on the line, okay, where you're vulnerable. Guys are afraid to put themselves on the line. They're afraid to step up. They're afraid to show their intentions. They're afraid to be real, okay? Two actually MOs that come out of this is, on the one hand, some guys are the too nice, too friendly, too agreeable. It's very dishonest in a way, because they're afraid to push the girl away. They're afraid to, be somewhat disagreeable, confrontational. They're afraid to rock the boat, if you will. Okay, and in so doing, they sabotage their interactions.
How are you today?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm doing good. My name's So what are you up to today?
Just came back from work.
Did you say
Yeah.
That's a unique thing.
Yeah.
Is it a cultural?
I guess it's an Italian saint's name.
Oh, you're Italian.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's
So
interesting.
it's her surname.
Oh, okay. So what are you up to today?
I'm going to go eat Indian food right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell? I've got a Indian background. I love Indian food.
What's my favorite?
It's not too spicy for you. So where do you work? Near here or
I work at a private school.
a private school?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a teacher. Oh, shaping the minds of our youth, are you?
Try as much as I can.
Oh, good for
In
you.
a good way, hopefully.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to say hi. Did you have time for a quick coffee before you're
I'm going to eat Indian.
kind of busy and stuff like that? Yeah.
Well, it's just that when I say get into anything, it doesn't have to be in a relationship. It can mean just anything right now.
Really? Even a friend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of that's interesting. Are you a grumpy person?
I know, I'm feeling a little bit too withdrawal a little bit. That's how I feel.
Two with what?
Withdrawal.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Just your last relationship wasn't good?
Yeah, I just need some time to process everything and just need
Are you
some time.
going to be okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay, thank you.
They play it safe, and out of fear of being a certain way, looking a certain way, losing the girl, and in so doing, they don't showcase the masculine qualities that women want. They don't build any of the sexual tension, and so it fucks them over. Then there's the camp of guys that are too, what I like to call fake alpha. Okay, they are more concerned with not getting taken advantage of. Okay, they're more concerned with not looking beta. Okay, and this sometimes stems from some stuff that happened, in the past. Maybe they were too nice, too agreeable, too this, too that. Okay, and so now they kind of take another extreme position that's also self-preserving, that's also coming from a place of, I don't want to lose, I want to protect myself, I want to hedge myself, and so they fuck themselves in a different direction by pushing the girl away too much, okay? By keeping too much of an emotional distance. It could be in the interactions in the early stages, it can be even in the latter stages, like a client I spoke to recently who was saying that he's been seeing this girl for a while, and he's really into her, but he's keeping this distance because he's been burnt before, where she's only allowed to stay over once a week, and he won't cook for her because that's too much investment. So he's not allowing a good relationship to flourish, okay, because of this fear of I'm going to lose and I'm going to get burned. Okay, where there's the guys that are, afraid to, they're trying to secure the quickest, most cost-efficient way to sleep with the girl quickly so that they can get the power over the dynamic, and they're afraid of spending too much money on the girl and being used, so they'll specifically go on a coffee date because they're worried the girl's going to order an expensive drink at night. And again, it's all about this self-preservation mode. Even in their communication, you see this shield. Okay, you see that they're sometimes a bit too cocky. There's this shield, basically.
You guys talking about the views?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do they light it up at night? Like it's fucking Disneyland. I don't
Right,
get it.
exactly. I was thinking the same, right? So.
You guys
that's
been
what
to
I did.
Disneyland?
No.
You're Russian, right?
Yeah.
Привет. Как дела?
Oh, you're not Russian.
No,
oh,
a few.
there's this.
Кошка, собака. Ёжик.
That's all?
This is Ёжик.
Yes.
You know Ёжik?
Okay. This is interesting. Where
You're
are you
Russian?
from, buddy? Where are you from?
You Russian?
No, I'm not. Do I look like Russian?
No, you look Croatian.
Ooh, I could be Croatian. Are you
You
Croatian?
look Eastern European.
Yeah, it could be. You're good. I can
No,
tell you're
I'm
traveling
from
around.
Antarctica.
No.
Yes,
You are.
I'm Eskimo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, you can pass for like someone from there.
Yeah,
Jokes aside, where are you from?
I'm from. Nice to meet you.
Tefik, very nice meeting you.
How?
Tefik.
Tefik.
Taufik
Tefik.
from your region? No, you are not from.
You're-
No, you are not.
I'm from
Well, you would have known my name right away.
Tefik.
There you go. Even the pronunciation is not right. Don't play a lawyer. So you are not from there.
You want to see the passport?
Could
If
be, but
I
you're
show you
not.
the passport, how much you pay me
Why would I pay you?
to show you you're wrong?
And look, if you enjoy coffee dates during the day, now that's your lifestyle, that's something you genuinely enjoy, then by all means, okay? I, for example, personally enjoy going out at night more with girls, right? On the first, when it comes to first dates. So if it's a matter of personal preference, it's one thing, but if you're doing it because you want to preserve a certain image, not get taken advantage of, which, by the way, newsflash, most girls are not trying to take advantage of you, okay? They're just doing their thing, okay? So anyway, this mindset, or this MO, I should say, okay? This way of being permeates every stage of your interactions with women, from just meeting them when you're afraid to properly, put yourself in front of the girl and stopping her in the street because you're afraid of, imposing your will on the girl, afraid of putting yourself on the line, to, later stages when you're more emotionally involved, to anything in between when you're going on these dates, okay, and putting up a shield or being too nice or whatever. So keep these things in mind, check in with yourself at times and ask yourself, is this behavior coming from a place of fear or self-preservation, or is it coming from a place of abundance, the wanting to win or make the most of the interaction? And also remind yourself that the fuck-ups will happen, and own them. And you're gonna fuck yourself and your growth, your interactions and your growth more. Okay, remember this, you're gonna fuck yourself and your interactions more in the short term, in the long run, if you take this approach of trying or playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Okay, so the second mistake that I often see guys make is that they don't give themselves enough permission to be masculine and to showcase their intent, okay, to escalate the perceived level of that, romantic or sexual intent, to assert to some reasonable degree that romantic or sexual intent, okay, and some level of dominance. All right, they don't understand ultimately, or forget sometimes, okay, that sexual tension, for example, is not going to work or is going to suffer tremendously without that first pillar of alpha attractiveness, okay? And it often starts with this permission that you need to give yourself. Permission, for example, to be more brazen, This is something I tell all my students, okay? Be more brazen, okay? Be a little bit more shameless, Okay, shameless and bold.
Excuse me,
Academy, yeah.
girl in the brown jacket.
Yeah.
I have to say hi because you look very British.
British?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you British?
My family
Mo.
is.
That's what brazen is. Shamelessly bold. Okay? A tasteful amount. Okay? Just riding the fine line of what is, ballsy and bold and a little shameless, but still socially acceptable. Even things like stopping a girl in the street. Okay? Stopping a girl in the street can be a little brazen. Like, yo, you're just fucking, it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like, yo, you're just stopping me in the street so that you can talk to me. Like, I'm on my way to do stuff and you're just stopping me. Or from the guy's perspective, it's like, I'm interrupting, okay? I'm interrupting her, I'm imposing, okay? I'm getting in the way. And on top of that, I'm trying to tell her that I'm into her, right? Ooh, I don't even know if I'm that guy. Like, I don't have permission to be that guy that can just stop her and impose my will and tell her, yo, I'm fucking into you. I want you. Let's dance the dance, Or if they're talking to a girl at some later stage, to be like, yo, I want to move you somewhere, okay? I want to move this interaction. Let's go to the bar. Let's go, okay? They have to lead, okay? Or tell the girl's friend, yo, I need, if she's trying to pull the friend away, like, hey, I'm trying to talk to this girl. We're bonding here, okay? We're vibing, like owning the fact that you're into her, that, you guys have something going on here, okay? Or at least you want there to be something, there's potential. Owning it, right? Fighting for it in a way. Pushing her, right? When it comes to pulling and pushing, okay, pushing her away more than you think is comfortable. Being more dominant in your interaction.
Then we'll have to go for tea another
Are you
time.
an Uber driver?
Unless you're in a very committed relationship.
I kind of am.
I mean, it's a fluid thing, right?
This guy's definitely Persian. It's a little weird.
Hold on. What's your background?
Native American.
She's full Native American?
Irish. My dad is Irish. My mom's Native American.
I was gonna guess Brazilian for some reason.
No.
You kind of remind me of Brazilian. I'm from Toronto, actually.
Toronto.
Toronto. Listen, you seem cool.
I'm okay.
You seem cool. You seem
I
chill.
probably
I feel like you have a
pretty
very
aloof right now.
who isn't aloof these days. I feel like you have a pretty witty sense of humor.
I can if I
You can wait.
if I need to.
You got to open up the forehead a bit more.
Oh, then there it is.
There it is.
Now you have the full.
I got you.
Yeah, because the brain power comes from the exposure of the forehead.
¿Qué se pasa? I haven't spoken French in so long.
I took French in high school
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where, in LA?
He's
in
here.
North Carolina. I knew like
I want to grab your
not
number.
much.
And then I'll send you a text.
I
Hold
can't
on.
give you my number.
Why? I'll fight for you. You seem
I actually
really cool.
believe that.
Actions. Look, something guys forget or don't understand is that women want to submit and surrender. They want to submit and surrender, okay, to you, to your masculine energy, to the dance. They want to be led by you, okay? And what a lot of guys do is they're there, okay? Some at least show up, they're there, and they're like, okay, I'm here to dance the dance. Because I guess inherently, I understand that women want to dance the dance, okay, to use the dancing analogy again. But then they show up and they're not dancing the dance. Not only are they not dancing the dance, they're behaving in a way that signals that they're not even sure if they want to dance the dance, or they're not even, they're not even comfortable with dancing the dance or the idea of the dance, right? It's like they're not showcasing, you know, their intent. They're not escalating that perceived level of intent. You know, they're not taking the lead on things. So it's like from the woman's perspective, imagine, you know, you're showing up to dance, and then you're like, oh, I don't know. Is this a dance? Am I dancing? Do I want to dance? I don't know. Do you want to dance? Is it okay to dance? That just completely turns the woman off because she's inherently down to dance the dance, okay? Usually, generally speaking, right? Sometimes timing is off, blah, blah, blah. But that just turns her off because she's like, does this guy even know what's up? Like, he is not owning it. He's not owning the fact that he wants to dance the dance, that there is a dance, that I want to dance the dance, right? I'm here to submit and to surrender. Just own it. Show me that you want to dance the dance. Show me that you're okay with it. Let me know that it's fine, okay? And I will follow you. Take the lead, bro. Take the lead, she says, okay, or hopes for.
Hi. Hi. I don't mean to scare you.
No, you're okay.
All right, cool. I was just walking to the Apple store to get some new headsets.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I need to stop this girl and at least say hi.
Well, hello.
Hi, my name is. What's your name?
My name is.
You have tattoos all over you.
I have 3 of them, yeah.
I saw 2. Where is the third one?
On my back.
On your back. Gotcha. I love it. 3 tattoos, you know it's the right number? Because 2 tattoos is actually bad luck.
Is it really?
Yeah, you need to have an odd number of tattoos. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, tattoo artist told me once, so it might be just for the sake of me getting more tattoos on my body.
It's incentive, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Where are you?
Leaving like 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh man, so we can't go for a drink then?
Oh no, I'm going to drink tonight.
You are going to drink tonight. You're going to drink with me?
I can. I don't mind.
I don't mind that either.
Okay. Where are you going?
Well, now I'm just a little bit confused. I need to catch up to the situation. How about let's grab coffee and then we'll decide what we want to do.
We're doing what?
Coffee. Coffee?
Go for what?
For coffee.
Go for...
Starbucks.
Okay, coffee.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, the accent threw me
No
off.
worries. Hey, we're just gonna get a quick coffee and we'll see how it goes. Yeah?
Where are you from?
I'm from Russia.
Now, obviously, you're calibrating, okay? It's important to calibrate and get feedback from the woman from the interaction, right? You're not just asserting your intent and just taking the lead, you know, without trying to get feedback from the situation, all right? And sometimes, you know, let's say you want to take the girl from the bar area to the dance floor, but maybe she's not emotionally ready. Maybe you haven't spent enough time with her. Okay, so you're going to get feedback and then you're going to adjust, learn from it, okay? But without putting yourself on the line, without stepping up and just being like, yo, here's what's up. Right, whether it's moving her on the dance floor or getting a little bit more physical, right? Or, I don't know, smelling her and paying her a compliment about her perfume, which is in a suggestive way.
Well, we can't just so. You're probably gonna be like, yo,
No, it
fuck
was a
is-
spin.
These
She
Canadian girls like
spin.
What is going on?
And now go back like this, and now roll in.
I'm not really like.
Roll in like this, and now. You are so light, and you smell like what's that stuff called?
My mother would not approve of this, kissing a stranger. A complete fucking stranger. I don't even fucking know you.
Like a lot of people do that when they go out.
Can I just kidnap you to Brazil?
Hawaii maybe, or Ibiza.
Why Ibiza? It's not even Ibiza season. Without doing that stuff, okay, you're not gonna get feedback. You're just going to, back to that initial point, you're just going to play it safe. This kills attraction. This kills sexual tension. So, you know, you could engage in some kind of basic teasing and pushing and pulling, but without that like oomph behind it, without that like, yo, I'm giving myself permission to do this, that brazenness, you know, that dominance. Okay, without you taking the lead, doing things on your terms and being like, yo, this what's up, we're dancing. This what's up, we're dancing. Okay, showcasing that in your attitude over the course of the interaction, your date, tastefully, right? By getting feedback, of course. Without that, the sexual tension is going to suffer.
Are these yours?
It's my friend. She went to the bathroom.
Oh, is this her phone?
Nope.
You're not just like two phoning it? I got
that
two phones.
Yeah, I'm not that important yet.
Not there yet?
Not there yet.
You can't have the same phone though. You need a BlackBerry.
You have to have two totally different phones.
Exactly. You gotta have one of those. You gotta have one of those like flip, like
why don't I get
side
like the
swipes?
7th generation Razr that they like
Yes.
and the iPhone, and I feel like I'm really ready to go.
Yes, that's clout.
I think that's the really good.
That's clout right
So
there.
you can have this little teasing and playful back and forth, but you know, it's not going to do much. Okay, if you tease her about her shoes and then high five her when you know she speaks French to give her a compliment, that will just not be enough. So keep that in mind. Remind yourself to give yourself permission to be more masculine, to showcase your intent, to assert your intent, okay, to be more brazen, to be a tad delusional about, you know, your masculine value, because in so doing, you're going to be more attractive, even if you sometimes hesitate whether you are attractive enough, whether you are a good dancer. Do your fucking best, and in so doing, okay, give yourself that permission to showcase more intent, okay, to take the lead, and in so doing, you will inevitably come off as more attractive.
You look like what are you heading up to?
I'm going to my boyfriend's place.
Huh?
My boyfriend's place.
Oh, serious?
Yes. I mean, we
Is
dated
he-
5 years ago, and I just moved back from Romania actually.
Rome.
I was living there.
What were you doing in Romania?
Teaching.
Yes, English?
Yeah.
Look at you. You can teach me English.
I mean, we're.
I'm ESL.
So am I.
I came off the boat.
So did I.
Wait, you're from Romania?
So I came back here, and then yeah, we ran into each other like several weeks ago. He's an ex that we dated 5 years ago.
Okay.
And now we're just like testing the waters.
So this is a new thing.
I mean, it's like 5 weeks. But like an
So
old
nothing-
thing. It's
nothing
an old
serious.
thing. It is serious. He wants like something serious.
Is he
and
gonna put a ring on it?
I mean.
He better, or else I'm
You're
getting
gonna-
in.
You're gonna.
I'm getting in for sure.
Okay.
You know the sliding door theory, right?
I just learned about that like last week.
And this point ties in very well with the principle that I talk about all the time, which is assuming a frame of familiarity. It goes very well hand in hand with this. Assuming that you already know the girl, acting like you already know the girl, like you and the girl are already dating. As far as, you know, as far as your body language, as far as the things you talk about, as far as how you make yourself comfortable in an environment or in a situation. Because if you act more comfortable, you know, whether you're touching her or you're leaning on the bar stool that she's sitting on or the table that she's on, okay, giving yourself the permission to do that, it reinforces that, you know, this guy's in control, okay? It reinforces that, yeah, I am comfortable with this guy. Whereas if you do the opposite, if you act unfamiliar, if you hide your intent, okay, you're going to reinforce that she doesn't know you, she's not with you, she's not comfortable with you, she's not attracted to you. Act as if she's already a member of your club, and it'll be easier to sell her on becoming part of your club. Whereas if you act like she is not a member of your club, it'll reinforce, you know, it'll be harder to sell her on that, to use the salesman analogy, right? All right, now the third mistake that I often see guys make is that they do not bring value to to the interaction, specifically emotional value to the interaction. See, whereas we men are more visual, and so women, you know, can get away with just their looks, okay? If their looks are aesthetically pleasing enough, the guys are going to be there, you know, within reason, obviously. And of course it helps if the woman's vibe is cool, but the bulk of the value rests on her looks. Whereas for the man, you know, his looks, his money, his status can contribute some value to help him get his foot in the door, can do some of the heavy lifting. All else equal, generally speaking, especially if you're just some average guy, you need to offer value emotionally, right? Remember, she wants to either feel, you know, your alpha attractiveness, your masculinity, she wants to feel secure with you, or she wants to feel that passion for life, you know, or that sexual passion, right? Which, you know, comes from the sexual tension that you build, or how you inject your playfulness or your passion or your sexual intent into the interaction. Or it comes from, you know, her feeling like she understands you, because, you know, how you express yourself, the different sides of you that you showcase, right? Showcasing emotional range, etc., etc. So look, bottom line, it is not enough when you're there. Like the trap that a lot of guys like fall into is that they're there and they engage in what I call an exchange of information.
So how long are you going to be in Toronto for? How long are you going to be in Toronto?
Sunday.
Sunday? Wow.
The view is so nice. Like with the CN Tower, it's so nice.
Oh yeah, it is. Everywhere, thank you. Have you ever been up there?
Where?
The tower?
I don't like the tourist stuff.
That's good. That's why you're here, right?
But like, yeah, it's so touristy here. Like, in the CN Tower, like, what's nice to say about the city is the CN Tower. So if you're in the CN Tower, you don't see the CN Tower. That's stupid.
Yeah. All right. And there's no, you know, so two things. Okay, so one thing is this exchange of information that they engage in that lacks any kind of emotion. All right, it's flat. And not to mention, sometimes this exchange of information, not only does it lack emotion, it adds no value in the information itself. So I always say, when you're talking, okay, emotion plays a huge role, right? That you inject into the words. But also aim to talk about things that add some kind of, that are mildly amusing, I say, or mildly interesting. Okay, the bar does not have to be high, right? That adds some kind of value. So, you know, if you're talking about skiing, okay, it's not enough, it's not good to have an exchange that's something like, hey, do you like skiing? And then she gives you some kind of answer and you're like, I don't really like skiing. I'm more into snowboarding. And, you know, with the right emotion behind it, right, you can get away with that, right? You can get away with a lot of things with the right emotion. You know, you could be like, skiing's not my jam. Skiing is lame, okay, right? Skiing is for suckers, or I'm not really into skiing. I'm a snowboarder, yo. Okay, and that injects some kind of playfulness or emotion into it. But, you know, with the words themselves, it's like, make it somewhat mildly interesting or mildly amusing. Maybe tie it into something, right? Maybe tie it in with some story of how when you were skiing and you were young, you loved, you guys would go to Colorado every winter and drive with the family, and you loved staying at this haunted hotel on the way. Right? You thought it was haunted, blah, blah, blah. Maybe share some story from there, how you thought you saw a ghost, okay? Or something about how, the first time you went skiing, you almost killed yourself. You were 11 years old, you guys were in Colorado, and it was on some small hill, and you hit a tree, okay? And that traumatized you. And it took you a few years to get back into it, okay? Or the time you decided that snowboarding was more for you was because you fell for this girl on your trip and she introduced you to snowboarding and she thought it was so much cooler, so then you got into snowboarding. Okay, so just something mild, or how it reminds you of the movie Dumb and Dumber when they went to Colorado to give the briefcase back to that girl and how the guy's tongue got stuck on the lift. Or maybe make some comment how of course she would be skiing because, she's Swiss. Make some joke about that. So something mildly amusing or something mildly interesting helps move the conversation along, right? As opposed to, and sometimes guys will also go out of their way to just like say something like, I went to Paris last year and it was really cool. Out of context, just kind of volunteering some information. Sometimes something random could be cool, and there's value in the randomness of it, right? But at least tie it into something or, say something about Paris that really threw you off. Like I went to, we're on the topic of travels, and I went to Paris last year, and it's crazy how, dirty the bathrooms were, even in the fancy restaurants, right? I'm making this up, by the way. I'm sure they're clean. I've only been to Paris once, actually. But let's imagine that was the case, and you're like, oh, this thing. Or, I went to Jim Morrison's grave at the Père Lachaise Cemetery, and it's crazy how there's it's like people are there, these culty people are there lighting candles and just vibing out on MDMA. Imagine you witness that and you share that. Or how a lot of people actually spoke English, contrary to popular belief. I was amazed at how, let's imagine, I was amazed at how people were volunteering to speak English to me. It's almost like they wanted to practice. I was expecting them to be snobby. So you're sharing this thing about this trip to Paris that might be random or out of context, but there's some value behind it. Now, again, in the things that you're saying. Now, again, most of the value, and what I want you to really focus on is on the emotions behind the words. Okay, that's what will inject the passion and the playfulness into the interactions to help build sexual tension, for example. It'll also help you speak more engagingly, okay, which will showcase you as being more socially attuned and also just an attractive man.
You're at a good height.
I think I am a good height.
This is Moroccan bling you're rocking.
Okay, you were like the fifth boy to comment on this. What the hell is this?
I mean, it's pretty.
Well, thank you.
Did you get it?
I didn't notice boys would notice my necklace.
Did you get it, where'd you get it, Croatia?
Sorry?
Did you get it on your last trip to Croatia or Morocco?
Close. I got an H&M.
H&M, the next best thing. You could have come up with an elaborate story.
I could have, but it was funnier doing this.
Witty and cute, lethal combination. Wait, name.
You can guess.
Like, that's realistic.
It starts with G.
G? Is it very Serbian sounding?
Yeah.
Can I dance while I guess? G. Juliana? No. Your name is... How is that even possible?
Right, focusing on your vocal modulation, on your facial expressions, on your body language when you talk, okay? creating pauses, placing emphasis on certain things. You know, sometimes being more goofy, like I always say, showcase emotional range. When you can tap into that side of you, show different facets of you. So sometimes you might be a little bit more goofy. Sometimes you might be a little bit more matter of fact. Okay. Sometimes you might be deadpan, right? Or sometimes sexual, right? Like, oh, Paris, the city of lights, is the city of love, right? Which, again, injects some of that playfulness, passion, sexuality at times, right? That's not always the goal, but can do that to build the sexual tension. Could also just make it more fun, right? And if you're saying something, and if you're talking in a more, you know, matter-of-fact way. And by the way, the change in the emotions is what's really captivating, right? It's not so much, you know, you speaking in one way versus another, it's the change in them. So you could be kind of matter-of-fact and you're talking about, I don't know, the COVID situation, okay? Pandemic situation. And then you inject some like goofiness or something into it. And it's like, ooh, that contrast is very powerful, right? That contrast in itself is very engaging. Now, along this whole vein of injecting emotional value, I also want to touch on the fact that guys don't, you know, we'll lump it all under one category. Guys don't use their subcommunication enough, especially when it comes to building sexual tension and being more flirtatious, right? Or combining that, you know, alpha attractive element with the flirtatious element, okay, to build the sexual tension. They don't, and part of it also comes from not giving them some permission, you know, or playing it safe, the things that we talked about. But it's really important to use the sub-communication, okay, to communicate, especially when it comes to building the sexual tension.
What do you mean, girl?
Ew, Kuna water is disgusting.
What happened to your finger?
I cut myself with a thumb.
On the what? Wait, what?
I cut my thumb with a knife is what I meant to say.
You cut your thumb with a knife? Were you slicing cucumbers?
Lettuce, actually. Lettuce.
You're slicing lettuce.
How lame is that? I
and
mean,
you
if
cut
I
your
was
finger.
cutting, like,
My
something
God.
cool, like, I don't know, salami?
Somali. A Somali salami.
Somali, that's a word, right? That's a person, isn't it? Somalian?
Somalian, yeah, it's a country in Africa.
Yep.
Have you been?
Nope. I've only ever been to Mexico or Maine, Boston, Massachusetts.
Well, if you haven't been to Somalia, I haven't been to Somalia.
Me neither.
We need to go.
Sounds like a fun thing.
So sometimes, for example, slowing your speech down can make a difference, or, you know, emphasizing certain words. So, for example, instead of saying interesting, saying interesting, interesting. Okay, how convenient, as opposed to how convenient. Okay, different effect. Or, you know, instead of saying that's a very yellow shirt, let's say, I don't know if it's a tease, you know, an observation you're making where her shirt is like really yellow. Maybe it's a tease, maybe it's just kind of a funny matter-of-fact observation. But instead of saying that shirt is very yellow, maybe saying that shirt or your shirt is very yellow. That's a very yellow shirt. So you notice how me extending the very, dragging it out, has a different kind of effect, okay? You know, especially maybe if you have, you know, a bit of a smirk. That's a very yellow shirt, right? Adds a little bit of that seductive or flirtatious element. That is a very yellow shirt versus that's a very yellow shirt, okay? Or that's a very yellow shirt. So, you know, pauses after you say something, okay? How do you not like the Beatles? You know, pause and kind of look at her, right? Eye contact, right? Holding that firmer eye contact, sometimes maybe squinting, and checking her out, okay? Tilting your head, okay? tilting your head, maybe getting more comfortable, you know, as you know, as far as body language go, getting more comfortable as you talk to her by the bar area, maybe the way you're kind of leaning on the bar, right? So that sub-communication is powerful, right? Your facial expressions, right? Sometimes being deadpan, right? Like, how do I put up with you? And then maybe having a pause, okay? Or having a little smirk, as I said. Like if she tells you she stole a bunch of her dad's records because he's got a really great record collection, you can tell her that, you know, you are a little thief, aren't you? And maybe you could simultaneously just hug her or put your arm around her kind of sideways, like, you are a little thief, aren't you? Okay, so this sub-communication, right, which includes touch, right? Facial expressions, the eye contact, the body language, the vocal modulation, right? Includes touch. It makes a profound difference on how you build that sexual tension. Sadly, I don't see, you know, I don't see guys doing it enough. Okay, I don't see them tapping into that sub-communication, whether it's just, you know, more sexual or just more engaging, you know, with more emotion behind it. So that's something I encourage you to keep in mind, is adding emotional value, whether it's general emotional value, okay, or more, you know, playful, seductive, flirtatious, sexualized emotional value to the interactions. Now, the fourth mistake I often see guys make, the way in which they often sabotage their interactions, is that there is not enough authenticity in their interactions. And that can be evident in a number of different ways. First of all, too much button pushing. I see that sometimes, you know, too much of this forced, you know, let me force some sexual tension, let me push her buttons, let me get some responses out of her, you know, over flirty, over gamey, over, you know, too much of an entertainer guy, okay? And that, of course, comes off as very inauthentic.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what you do?
Yeah, I do fitness. That's
I went
what
to the gym this morning, can you tell?
Yeah?
It's not working.
Did you go to the Westwood Equinox?
No, it's too expensive actually.
Oh, right.
Do they pay you really well at least?
What?
Do they pay you a bunch of money for what they charge?
Yeah, they do. They pay me well. It's good. I love it. It's like my life. And I live right up the street, so it's perfect.
So this is like your bubble. This is your world.
This is my world. I know.
This must happen like every day.
Yeah, no.
Someone runs up to you.
No.
Yeah.
What's your name again? Okay.
Your name was Sarah.
No.
I was gonna be my next guest.
You should come check out a class at Equinox sometime. I like look me up on the schedule.
But so I'm not here to take gym classes. I thought you were pretty. So are you single?
I am. Yeah.
You are. So how about sometime? You know what gym? People that go to the gym, the reason they can't build muscle, is they're not eating enough ice cream.
Right.
So that is actually the problem.
Yeah.
You need your fats, your carbohydrates.
Yeah.
It's a little protein. It's got milk in it.
It's so hot right now.
That's really the problem. Seriously, I have no flexibility, but I can do the robot pretty good.
I believe that.
Yeah, we should dance battle. You ready?
I have to go more.
2 seconds. It's gonna take 2 seconds. Are you ready?
You can show me your best.
Ready? You really?
I don't think. Very good. Very good. You should put a little jar out.
Yeah, that's not my thing. I don't really street perform.
It's like very inauthentic and very unrelatable. It's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And she doesn't feel like she's, you know, that takes away from her getting to know you, okay? So the common, you know, the formula that I present is 30-70. 30% of your interactions with women should be more of this like direct pushing and pulling and maybe injecting some of that playful, sexual, passionate vibe into the interactions. And 70% should just be normal, but not boring, and engaging, authentic communication. Okay, again, not boring, right? You're still, remember, injecting emotion behind it. You're still speaking engagingly. You're still indirectly pushing and pulling her by being more, or by being by alpha attractive, right? You know, it's like if you lead her somewhere, right? That's you inadvertently pulling her, showcasing that you're interested in her, but you're not doing it in some kind of a direct way where, you know, you're like, oh, let me push her buttons, you know, or let me pull her in, let me push her away. So 70% should be normal communication, essentially normal behavior where you're getting to know the girl and allowing her to get to know you through this authentic communication.
So while this was all happening, my friend invited me to like work with him on a blinds business.
Blinds.
Custom blinds. Window shop, yeah. He's like, why don't you join me? You do sales, because I had experience in sales. I'll do operations. I'm like, okay, I need some money to finance my training stuff. Let's give it a shot. We started doing that and started getting more seriously involved in that. And at some point, I just like dropped both, basically.
Lack of interest?
Yeah, I realized I wasn't as passionate about trading,
Blinds.
about blinds or trading. I was interested in trading, but I didn't have the capital, nor was I as passionate. I created an identity around it, as people do. It's like, look at me sitting in front of like 3 monitors with the graphs and the charts.
What you look like doing it than actually the fun that you have doing it.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I was very interested in various aspects of it, like group psychology, behavioral economics.
Okay, so it doesn't feel like you're hiding behind some kind of a facade, you're being fake, gamey, over the top, etc. Okay. Another thing is owning certain situations by being real about them. You know, sometimes I say, look, if you're at a loss for words when you're first meeting a girl, or I don't know, at some point in the interaction, or it gets kind of awkward, or you get kind of nervous, own it. Just fucking own it. Oh shit, I'm really fucking nervous. Damn, I haven't done this in a while. Or you know what? I'm completely at a loss for words. You really threw me off with that one. Ha ha ha.
Oh. Hi. Excuse me. Girl in the red dress. You're not wearing a dress. I apologize. I'm nervous when I see a beautiful girl. Yes. I'm Russian, so I just kind of figured that I follow the traditional Russian approach strategy. When I see a nice girl I don't know, I need to come over and at least say hello. Hi, my name is.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. It's a very beautiful name.
I've never heard of the name. It's cool.
Yeah. In Russia, it's very common.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you up to?
I'm just going home on the bus.
You're going home on your bus?
All right. You know, or you, I don't know, come prematurely, okay? You say, well, I guess that's what happens when you don't jerk off for 2 weeks, okay? So you're real, you own the situation. It kind of does 2 things. One, showcase that you're real about something, and 2, that you're okay with it, which is a really powerful combination. Another, you know, thing guys don't do, another way in which you can be authentic is sometimes leveling with the girl, you know, or being vulnerable with her. So let's say she, I don't know, drops off after a couple of dates, all right? And you want to know what's up. Well, you can send her a leveling text and be like, yo, I thought we vibed well. Love to see you again, but I don't know if you're going through some stuff, or if you're seeing someone, or if you're just not interested, that's cool. Let me know, you know, just keeping it real, okay? And so you're putting yourself on the line. You know, you're also like, hey, you ask her, hey, what's up? And you can get some feedback out of that. First of all, girls will respect you for it. Sometimes they won't answer, but oftentimes they will answer, and they'll respect you for it. And you'll also often get some kind of feedback from it. Or maybe you were setting up a date with a girl, or you met her and she she flaked, she dropped off. Instead of just like playing it cool, right? You know, you could also be real about it, right? Or maybe she's being somewhat inauthentic herself, right? Or too sarcastic in the interactions. And you can be like, hey, what's up? Like, why you gotta be sarcastic with me all the time? Hey, why can't you just, let's be real here, you know? Let's be vulnerable, right? You can make it a little bit jokey, but for the most part, it's like, hey, what's up? Why don't you open up? Like, tell me, you know, ease her into it. You know, tell me X, Y, Z, or tell me something about this, okay? So you're being real in the sense that you want to connect with her, but she's making it hard to connect. Maybe something's bothering her. Maybe her mind's, you know, elsewhere. Hey, I noticed you seem very distraught. You know, are you even in the headspace to be meeting people, right? Maybe she went through a breakup recently. Maybe she's going through a tough time at work, whatever it is. And that will also allow her to open up about things. So it can be very win-win when you can be authentic and real at times in your interactions and not always like, oh, let's play it safe. Let's keep it light and fluffy, okay? Just a little bit of flirting here and there, you know? It's like, oh, I just met the girl. It's not my place to be real and vulnerable yet, you know? We have to evolve to that stage. Let's play it safe, right? You know, this again comes back to this notion of like, let me play it safe, let me self-preserve. God forbid I come off as like too invested in the interaction, you know? It's like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And again, you're going to remember, if you're aiming to win, you're going to learn a lot more, even if you do end up sabotaging some interactions. And you know, another thing that ties into all this is the idea that, you know, that some guys are just not present during the interactions. And that in itself is inauthentic, okay? Inauthentic and incongruent. Guys will go up to girls, you know, to hit on them, or they'll go on a date, whatever. So it's like, you know, you're hitting on this girl and you're seemingly interested in her. But at the same time, you're not like present with her. You're not asking her questions. You're not following up on her responses.
Where are you from?
Russia.
Russia?
Yes.
Moscow?
No.
Where in Russia?
From Krasnodar, this is the coast of the Black Sea.
Ah, okay. So you're here for school or what?
Yeah, I'm studying here.
I'm gonna guess like something sciencey. Mathematics? No?
It's ecology.
Sorry?
It's ecology.
Ecology?
Psychology.
Psychology. Nice. Do you like it?
Yeah, so far.
How long have you been in Toronto for?
For 1 year.
Ah, okay. So have you experienced the winters yet? Do you enjoy psychology? Do you like it?
Yes.
What year are you in?
Second year.
Okay, that's cool. So what made you want to come to Toronto?
It doesn't feel like you're there to really get to know her or have a conversation. And that feels very, you know, inauthentic, because on the one hand, it's like an incongruent. It's like you're here to get to know me and to hit on me, you know, to dance the dance, but you're not doing that, right? And a lot of times it's because they're nervous or they're in self-preservation mode. And, you know, that could be understandable at times, but you got to keep yourself in check, because that comes off as very inauthentic and incongruent and rubs the girls the wrong way and can make her feel very disconnected from you, can rub her the wrong way, essentially. So keep all these things in mind. More authentic communication in your interactions, dates, and relationships. It all starts, you know, from the very beginning. A lot of the things that we do in the initial stages and on dates actually end up also becoming, you know, quite apparent in our relationships too. Funny enough, even though, yes, in theory we're more comfortable and blah, 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 but the idea that we can be more at ease in our relationships further down the road because we're more comfortable can fuck us over in some sense, because we feel like certain things are not as important. Whether it's, you know, being present and authentic with someone or keeping the sexual tension alive, okay? speaking in an engaging way, we almost think, well, like, oh, I'm already with her. Whereas nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, there is a certain bond that happens as a result of the time you spend together and the things that you do, but you still need to maintain the chemistry, which always falls on the 3 pillars that I talked about. Okay, if you're in a relationship, if you're married, it always falls on those 3 pillars if you want maintain a healthy chemistry in your relationship. The 5th mistake that I often see guys make is that they don't make it relatable for the woman. Okay, they fail to account for that, and that can manifest in a whole variety of ways. I'm going to touch for some, but that's a very key component for her to be able to feel like she's understood, to connect with you, to build rapport, comfort, right? Making it relatable, right? And it's hard to keep track of this sometimes when we're in the moment and we're doing our best to do, X, Y, Z, to attract her, to be confident, blah, blah, blah. But it is something to keep in mind because it can really sabotage our interactions. So for example, if you're hitting on a woman during the day, okay, well, first of all, you need to let her know why you're approaching her. And some guys fail to let the girl know up front that it is because they are hitting on her. That's why they're there to talk to her. And that can really creep her out, even though sometimes she senses that, right? And you can get away with it if you can convey it, like, if you can convey it well in your vibe, that romantic and sexual intent. Sometimes you can actually get away with it depending on what the girl's doing. But if she's on her way somewhere and you just stop her, it can like creep her out if you don't let her know what the agenda is, because that's very unrelatable. It's like, why are you talking to me in this like vague fashion in the middle of the street? You're just saying hi. You're just complimenting me on my nice purse. It's like, what's the angle? I suspect I know what the angle is, but like, what's the angle? Right?
Are you like very zen? I'm getting that vibe from you. Low key zen.
I don't know. I feel pretty chill. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe from you.
Cool. That's good.
So you're like, I don't get like you're much of a party or like a club girl. You're more of a chill lounge.
Maybe like when I was younger. I don't know.
Yeah. Now you're more into just chilling and enjoying the outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's cool. So just going for nice walks on a Sunday evening.
Yeah. Like, I'm like not trying to waste your time or anything. Like, I'm not sure where this conversation is going.
Okay.
But like, I am married. If that's if that's where that's going, I'm just gonna
kind of pretty much. Yeah.
Because I don't want to like waste your time.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's like nice conversation. Like,
yeah,
you
it
seem
was.
like a cool guy, but
yeah, you seem like a.
Similarly, letting her know, why are you out there, or like, what were you doing right before you approached her? Like, that's crossing her mind. You're talking to her during the street. Well, what were you doing immediately before approaching her? What are you generally doing out there? Are you just like roaming around the streets talking to girls? Or are you meeting a friend in half an hour for lunch? Oh, you're from out of town, so you're exploring the city. Oh, you're doing some shopping. You're getting a new laptop bag. Okay, that's relatable. Especially like when some guys, they'll talk to a girl for like a couple of minutes and then they will attach themselves to her and be like, okay, I'll walk with you. Yeah, I'll walk with you. And so that's very unrelatable. It's like, why would a stranger just start walking with me? It's like, and then they fail to mention what they're up to. So for example, like I often say, don't walk with a girl when you meet her until you've like talked to her for 5-10 minutes, then maybe you could say, well, are you walking this way? It's like once she gets a little bit more comfortable with you, you could be like, well, hey, are you walking this way? Okay, you know what? I'll walk with you for a few minutes and then let her know what's up. Like, I'll walk with you for a few minutes. I'm actually meeting my friend in about half an hour, okay? Or I'm actually meeting my friend in 15 minutes. So I'll walk with you for a bit. I don't have too much time to kill. I even like to throw in, a little disclaimer, like just don't do anything crazy. Just don't do anything weird, which is in a way kind of relatable because it makes her feel like, oh, this guy gets that this is kind of weird and he's kind of like making light of the situation. You know, he's framing me as the aggressor, ha ha ha. Okay, he's socially attuned. I can relate to that, okay? It's like, don't do anything crazy. He also let me know what is up, where some guys will just kind of attach themselves to her or be like, can I walk with you? You know, after like 2 minutes of interaction without giving her context as to why they're there, like what they're generally up to, without making her, without signaling to her that they get how she might be feeling. You know, like, I know this is kind of random, or, you know, oh, I hope this isn't like weird. Just something to say, hey, I get it, and like something she can relate to.
Excuse me, purple woman. You have the purple swag. I said you have the purple swag. You know what swag is? No. It's like a really confident attitude. Where are you from?
Germany.
Germany. Okay, I like Germans. I love German people. What part of Germany?
Southern part, yes, Stuttgart.
I think German people are really cute.
Okay.
What are you heading up to?
Just walking around.
Just walking. Are you like visiting LA?
Yeah, well, I came like a stop over for shopping.
Yeah.
Before I was in Central America.
You're crazy, you know. It's pretty crazy. Did you go to Central? When did you come back here?
I started 6 weeks ago in Panama.
Come on, walk with me. Walk with me. So, did you do any shopping?
I want to start now.
Oh, you're just starting, just getting started. Okay.
Okay, or maybe they'll talk to her and she's with friends, and then they're not acknowledging the fact that she's with friends. Or, you know, I often like tell guys, if you're talking to a girl, like especially during the day, right, and she's with a friend or she's with her mom, acknowledge the friend, say hi, let them both know what's up, that you're hitting on, you know, the girl. And then I often like to ask the girl for permission to hit on the friend. Like, is it cool if I like hit on your girl for a few minutes? That's what I tell my students to do. It's very relatable. It's very socially attuned. It's like, oh, this guy gets it. You know, he gets it. You know, if you're out at night and she's with friends, recognize she has to also hang with her friends. So you're talking to your friends to some extent, okay? You're showing her that you get it.
Was it the Q10?
Oh my God! One of you.
Oh my God!
Where are the other two?
Oh my God!
Yo, who are you?
Yo!
Who are you?
We used to go out in middle school. It's not a big deal.
Oh,
I have no
really?
idea.
Who?
No, I'm just a rando.
Oh, you fucking random?
I'm just a fucking stranger.
Fucking stranger?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, stop. I'm not that fucking. No, where the fuck are they?
I don't know. He distracted me.
We were both panicking. Like, where's the posse?
Where the fuck are they?
Where's the posse? How many of you are there?
Anyway, I'm sorry for being rude.
What's your name? Vadim. How do you do?
Yo, how do you do? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm fine.
Aside, we have two very drunk Asian girls to find.
Yo, okay, I was just with some fucking guy right now, and he was like asking me like.
Sexual things?
No, like he was like asking me, yo, like how big is your cube? And I'm like.
How big is your what?
Cube.
Cube?
Okay, so being relatable and like being socially attuned, you know, often really go hand in hand. You know, it's also just accounting. Think of it as like accounting for a certain disconnect or a gap in her mind, where it's like, what might she be thinking, or how might she be perceiving this, or how might she be feeling, and then like trying to fill that gap. So to put her more at ease, to make her feel like she can relate to you, like, you know, with age, for example, right? If she's, I don't know, a lot younger, 10, 15 years younger, and say you're meeting her, you know, on a college campus, okay? Okay, you're in your early 30s, she's in her early 20s, you're meeting her on a college campus. I would say it might be better to dress in a way that doesn't accentuate your age, right? Like, I don't know, let's say you're in some like suit, in like a suit, right? Versus, I don't know, more casual jeans, something like that, okay? Where you're not like, oh, right? Or, you know, more importantly, letting her know, again, why you're there. Oh, well, you have a meeting with your friend because he's at the startup. he works at a startup, there's an incubator at the university, he's there. Or you're on your way to work, you're passing through the university, okay? It's not like you're just randomly at the university and you're 10, 15 years older, right? Also, maybe, you know, catering to your audience, not trying to sound overly sophisticated when you're speaking to her.
I mean, I've had some bad trips, but like, depends how much you dose.
I used to like smoke every day.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then now I don't.
I can totally see you being a pothead. Like, yo,
in school,
let's get some Chick-fil-A, yo.
In like school, I would, which wasn't like the best.
You're how old now? You're like 20, what, 26, 27?
I'm like 20. I'm 20.
You're 20? You got this like mature vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost 21 though.
Almost 21.
Yeah, in October, I'm gonna be
20. Okay, so you're not even allowed to, because in Canada it's 19.
I know.
So you're not allowed to go to a venue and drink, but they don't card, right?
Yeah,
Typically.
they always card me. People think that like whenever
Really?
I try, they're like, oh, you look 16. I'm like, what?
Obviously, every younger girl is different, right? Some girls are older souls and they'll be a lot more witty and intelligent, but otherwise just kind of keeping it cool and chill and not like making her feel like you're so much older, or potentially speaking in some like, I don't know, condescending way. I mean, it's okay to like tease a girl, you know, sometimes for something. Let's say if she's younger and she watches some TV show, you can tease her about it. But nothing that will pronounce this like age difference and it's like, oh, he's older and like he doesn't get it. And that's why he's saying that, right? Where it's almost coming from some insecure place. So making it like cool and relatable, you can make fun of the age difference, okay? Making fun of it also like owns it, right? Like if she's like, you know, 10 years younger, you could say, I'll try not to, how old are you? Okay, 21? Yeah, I'm 33. I'll try not to drop any references that you may not get. Oh shit, there's a generational gap between us. You know, I'll try not to drop any references you may not get. Okay, so it's like, oh, he's cool. He can recognize that there's an age difference, but he can like make light of it. Oh, you're old enough to be my dad. That's right. Call me daddy.
Wait, are you guys living in Hollywood?
I live in Playa Vista.
Where's that?
Marina Del Rey.
Okay.
That west side grind.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And you are, you're just staying here?
Yeah, with my best friend. My best friend.
Besties? BFFFF?
We're 12 and we got in here.
Only 12?
We're 16.
My cutoff's 17. That's kind of a shame.
How to drive.
Can you like lie to me and tell me you're 17? Sorry.
He's Secret Service. Secret Service.
That's so hard. Call me daddy.
Secret Service.
Say, daddy, take me to the ice cream parlor. Say, daddy, beg for it. Say, daddy, take me to the ice cream parlor.
I just wanted to say this is a very funny conversation happening over here. I'm just observing.
He's not weird about it. He can recognize it. Okay, I can relate to that. She's thinking. Okay, I can relate to that. And of course, if she's in a different environment, if she's in some kind of a lounge, okay, where there are more, you know, there are older guys, she's more dressed up, okay, you can adjust your approach a little bit, right? Still make it relatable, but you know, that difference is not going to be as pronounced if you're talking to her on a college campus. And this goes for, you know, things like culture. If you're of a different culture, trying to bridge that gap, okay, or that disconnect to make her feel like she can understand you, or that you recognize that there's a difference in the culture, or, you know, like finding things in common, whether it's profession or lifestyle. Like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, it's a lot easier if like the girl can, you and the girl have completely similar interests and similar lifestyle, but that's not always the case. And so finding common ground, asking the right questions, you know, navigating the discussion in a way where, like, even though you guys are from different worlds, you can make it relatable to her, okay? Because we're all human at the end of the day, and we all, you know, there are general kind of rules and principles, you know, that govern us. Okay, things that make us happy, that make us curious, things that we laugh about, things that intrigue us, etc. And so it is possible to find common ground and to connect overall, if you will. And part of that, you know, is showing that emotional range, as I said. Okay. Part of that is, you know, we talked about that, you know, you need to bring emotional value, right? And all that stuff. By showing different facets of yourself, the stern you, okay, the sexual you, the goofy you, okay, the playful you, right, the matter-of-fact you, and showing the difference between these things not only engages and not only is attractive and can build sexual tension and showcase you know, some of your alpha attractiveness, but it also makes her trust you more because she's seeing these different sides of you, and that is relatable. She sees the vulnerable side of you. She sees the side of you that's like, yo, da-da-da-da-da, you can't do that. And then the goofy side of you, and that's very human, and that's very relatable. Okay, so keep this shit in mind. Super powerful stuff. All right, so those are the 5 common mistakes that I see. And I know we said we're going to talk about 5, but I want to talk about one other thing that I think it's very important to note here. And that is that guys fail to see that there are many gray areas, okay, in this, as in all areas of life. And they fail to see the paradoxes, okay? There are a lot of seemingly what would look like paradoxes when it comes to success in this area, okay? And it's just important to be able to reconcile those two things because they're not necessarily paradoxes. They just suggest that you have to be aware that there are 2 sides to every coin. Okay. So for example, you know, we talk about playing to win. Okay. Playing to win, not playing not to lose. Okay, sure, there's that side of it, but there's also the side, of course, where you do want to be strategic at times, depending on, you know, the context, depending on what phase of the journey you're in. Depending on, I don't know, the situation, the headspace that you're in, okay, and not being reckless, so strategic and also not reckless, okay. It's, you know, doing things on your own terms while also getting feedback from the environment, okay. It's being real, okay, being authentic, but also there needing to be some degree of be fake it till you make it, right? So yeah, it's important to be real, but if you don't sometimes, you know, let's say you're like really nervous, if you don't sometimes act more confident, even though inside you're like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing, then you may not get to see some of those situations that could lead to your progress, that could lead to your development. Okay, so sometimes you do need to be somewhat, you know, inauthentic. Okay, cool when you're nervous, you know, confident when you don't necessarily know how to navigate this thing. You know, we talk about assuming familiarity, right? And that's important, but also recognizing that she is a stranger. So you can act familiar, like you know one another, etc., in your body language, your vibe. Assume all this stuff, but also know, hey, she is a stranger and certain things need to be calibrated to that fact. Otherwise, you're just gonna, you know, you're gonna mess things up. You're gonna assume too much comfort and too much familiarity. You're gonna cross some boundaries. Right? We talk about, you know, asserting your intent, right? Giving yourself permission to showcase your romantic intent, you know, escalating things, taking the lead. Right, but you also have to be empathetic. See how is she feeling? You know, checking in with her, sometimes even asking, like, hey, are you good? you know, how you feeling, right? You must be feeling like this, right? Sometimes girls are, you know, afraid to speak up, afraid to let you know what's up, so they'll be kind of like weird about it. Some will tell you, hey, you're touching me too much, or hey, you know, can we slow it down, or hey, you startled me, right? So pick up on the cues, you know, the more overt cues, the not so, you know, the more subtle cues. So you got to be empathetic. Own, you know, we talk about owning your situation, right? But also making it relatable. You know, it's like you might be out, I don't know, talking to girls, but you don't necessarily want to disclose that and say, hey, I'm just like practicing talking to girls. All right. You want to make it more relatable. Like, why are you out? Like, if it's organic and you just happen to be meeting the girl when you're out doing some stuff, well, that's cool, that's congruent. But if you're not, if you're taking a couple of hours to talk to girls, to build the skill set, to be more social, sometimes you can get away with that. You can say, I'm just learning to be social, but that's kind of, you know, unrelatable, right? And that's going to maybe kill the chances, your chances of building something further, right? So it is a delicate balance. Something I often talk about is being, you know, most engaged, but least attached. Okay, most engaged with the process, like playing to win, pushing things as much as you can, learning, you know, trying for the win, trying to make the most of the interaction, but also detaching from the outcome, letting go of, you know, letting go of what will happen, because you recognize you're not really in control of what's going to happen ultimately, and because we need to detach our identity and our sense of happiness from the results. So those are also seemingly paradoxical, but that's, you know, the true definition of going with the flow, is being most engaged but least attached. You know, another thing is taking all these principles that we talk about, these things that we learn in this area, you know, taking them seriously, but at the same time seeing the absurdity of it all from like a macro perspective. You know, seeing the absurdity of male-female interaction, social dynamics, attraction, value, all this stuff. And that helps you just not take yourself so seriously and not build an identity around anything, okay? So another powerful, seemingly paradoxical statement that can really drive your success. You know, taking the principles of things you learn seriously, but not taking it from a macro perspective seriously by seeing the absurdity in it all, and not taking yourself seriously, and not taking anything personally. It's like, here's what's up, here's how stuff works, but I'm not going to create an identity around this. I'm not going to make it into some serious thing, right? So I want you guys to keep these things in mind. You know, the mistakes we talked about, the paradoxes that lie within. And I just want to say that even as we talk about these things, I am super empathetic, because I know how challenging this is, because these are the mistakes that I made when I was young. I too was in your shoes, as I've said before, but unlike you, I did not have the resources that you guys have, you know, resources like this workshop, telling you, you know, what to do, what not to do, what to keep in mind. It was just a lot of trial and error. It was just like picking up some random ebook off the internet and just like trying this routine, trying this technique when things were a lot more, you know, gamey, which also, you know, probably did more harm than good. But, you know, I did have one thing I did have, and that I want to encourage you guys to have, is a positive and curious and scientific attitude, a lighthearted approach to all this. Like, yeah, this can be challenging and frustrating, but trying to see the humor in it, trying to see the fun in it, just, you know, adopting a scientific kind of mindset is, I think, very important, where, you know, it's about learning, it's about the experiences. Again, not getting attached to anything, not creating any identities around anything, not taking anything personally. And, I often like to thank, I thank all the women that I've met along the way that, that have rejected me and that have inadvertently given me feedback. Through those interactions, through those dates, through the relationships I've had, they've given me, sometimes directly, if you ask, some form of feedback, but often it's some form of indirect feedback, like, this is what happened in the situation, try to draw some conclusions from it, which, with my analytical nature has really helped me learn and then relate a lot of the things that I've learned to you guys. And, sometimes I look back and I think, man, this took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it was worth it. It changed my life dramatically, not just with women, but in other areas of my life, because a lot of these principles carry over. And, it changed the life of others, like, some of my students like Anthony, who, while being a cool, good-looking guy, he struggled, with certain areas, right? He struggled, asserting some of that intent and just kind of going for it. He struggled. He had certain insecurities. He thought that he needed to be like super interesting, super funny when he communicated. I guess struggled showcasing some of that emotion, maybe because he was playing it safe and, playing not to lose again because of like a certain identity that he had created of like, being the reserved cool guy. And like, the point is, when we work together, it was amazing that when you make sense, when you help a student make sense of some of these things, they can really transform and tap into these sides of themselves that they didn't know and just like set themselves free from a lot of this bullshit that they have in their mind, this misinformation, this conditioning, these blockages, and, it allows them to just fucking gain more control, right? To create more opportunities with the women that they meet. And it's amazing, it's truly awesome, and it's very fulfilling for me to witness that. Like I said, I take great pleasure in these case studies. It brings me great satisfaction in seeing the impact that this stuff can make, that it has made on me, has made on my students. And I hope that what you've learned in these videos can really put you on the path to success. I hope that it can help you capitalize on more opportunities, that it'll help you create, hope that helps you create incredible chemistry with the women you meet, okay? Lasting connections. I hope helps you improve your quality of life. I hope it helps you gain the freedom and abundance you may never have had until now. But I want to remind you that none of this is possible if you don't put in the work, if you don't go out there and apply yourself. You need to start changing your mindset. You need to start, adopting these strategies. You need to start changing the entire approach you have to the way you meet and interact with women. You are this driver of change. I'm just here to offer you the resources. Okay, you don't have to be the guy that's just taking stabs in the dark. The resources are there. I'm here to offer you those resources. But you got to go out there, you got to put in the work, and the work doesn't have to be, grueling. It can be fun. All right, you can enjoy this challenge. So again, don't be one of those guys that's just taking stabs in the dark. Instead, take full control of this part of your life, okay? And this workshop is enough to get you started. Now, I have really enjoyed putting this together for you guys, but I understand that there's some of you that may want to go a step further. If you want to go deeper in the training with me, if you want to go deep down the rabbit hole, then in the next video, I'll be introducing my Honest Chemistry course, okay? That will open for enrollment for a few days. It will show you how to take what you learned in this workshop, in these videos, and develop it further across 30 videos with examples drawn from close to 100 real-life interactions comprising 5 hours of real-life in-field footage, okay? Over a quarter of the course. Course is close to 20 hours long. It's a monster of a course demonstrating a large variety of concepts, principles, and unique situations that you're very likely to encounter along this journey, okay? In this area of success with women and dating and attraction, chemistry, all right, and social dynamics. It's truly a powerful system, a very comprehensive overview that will give you the clarity and the control that you want. And I always joke how ultimately we have no control over what happens, but at least we have some control as to how to navigate certain situations, how to put ourselves into certain situations, how to make the most of certain situations, even if we don't ultimately know what's going to happen. We can increase the probability of certain things happening, and that's truly powerful and liberating. So for now, you have enough to digest from the videos in this workshop. We talked about the idea that it's all just a dance. We talked about how you're a salesman of your own value. We talked about how you should not get hung up on things like looks, money, status, because they're merely a bonus or a way of getting your foot in the door, and how you should not fall into this trap of not feeling good enough to go out there, to put yourself out there. We also talked about the 3 pillars of honest chemistry to help you build that foundation. And we talked today in this video about the 5 or 6 common mistakes, traps that guys fall into that sabotage their interactions. So you have enough to work with. I want you to roll with that for now, but then join me in the next video if you want to go further. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, questions, concerns, any revelations you have. And again, thank you, and I'll see you soon.